Welcome back to Giants Mania. It's funny, a couple weeks ago I made a video. I said, well, there's not much to talk about now, but 2 weeks later, it's like there's everything to talk about. I have not talked to you guys in commentary form in a while. So we have a lot to talk about here. So we're going to go through the Golladay injury, the retirements, Levine Toilolo getting injured, Saquon and Kyle Rudolph's injuries, Shane Lemieux, of course, who I forgot to mention, but practice brawl and the first preseason game coming up in 8 days against the Jets. So we'll touch on all that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I left in the community page a question area, so if you guys want to leave a question for a future video, go ahead and do that. I'll do that in about probably 3, 4, 5 days whenever I get to it. But hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and let's get into it. All right, so the first news, Kenny Golladay expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring pull, according to Pat Leonard. So yeah, I mean, it's not what you want to see. Hamstring issues are tricky, and Kenny Golladay, of course, last year came into the season with a hamstring injury. I believe he missed week 1, maybe week 2 as well. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he missed the first week or 2. So yeah, that's definitely concerning, and it could lead to other things, of course. Now, as a Brooklyn Nets fan, I saw James Harden have a hamstring injury. He kind of rushed himself back, re-injured himself, then came back, got hurt again in the playoffs. Hamstring injuries suck, and you never know how to predict them. I'm obviously not a doctor, but as a fan, as a guy that we paid a bunch of money to, as a guy who's supposed to be the wide receiver 1, I am concerned. Now, to expect Kenny Golladay to play all 17 games to begin with is kind of unrealistic. I mean, the guy played 5 games last year. You hope he's out there as much as possible, but this is not the type of injury you want to see. Now, it could have been worse, could have been ACL, could have been Achilles, whatever, but still, hamstring issues are tricky and they could pop up at any time. And this is a guy that's had a history with the same injury last year. So it's definitely a cause for concern. Now, if I had to guess right now, on August 6th, I would say that Kenny Golladay does suit up week 1. We're still over a month away from the first game of the season. So 2 to 3 weeks would put him on track to play. I don't think he plays in the preseason. I said that when he first got injured. I don't want to see that because why would you even risk it at that point? So I know it's a hamstring pull. There's strains, there's tears and all that stuff. I get it. So this one's called a pull. I guess it sounds better. But yeah, I personally did not want to see him play in the preseason after the first hamstring tweak anyway. So that's fine. But if I had to guess right now, I say he plays week 1. We'll find out how it goes, of course, but definitely concerning. The Giants will monitor that, and hopefully they do not rush him back. All right, so now it's time to talk about some of the retirements the Giants had. They've had 4 guys now, I believe, that have left practice and basically retired, or left training camp, I should say. So we have Zach Fulton, who was the one today. Now, Zach Fulton, if you've watched me before, he's a guy that I thought had a legitimate chance to start at right guard. So to me, it's kind of like we're losing a starter. Maybe not exactly, but I think of all the guys we're losing due to retirement, this could be the most important one. Now, I will say, I think if I had to guess, the Giants will bring in another veteran offensive lineman. They talked about Austin Reiter with the Chiefs. I do like him, so hopefully that one happens, but we'll find out who they bring in. Of course, Trey Turner went to the Steelers, so that can't happen. That's, the Gettleman connection was there. People speculated that may happen, but it will not happen. So Zach Fulton now is gone. Todd Davis, the veteran linebacker with the Broncos, was there for like 2 or 3 days. And the same thing for Joe Looney, the former guard center for the Cowboys. And of course, Kelvin Benjamin. Now, I did not talk about the Kelvin Benjamin stuff when it came out. I debated, is this worth making a video on? I was like, you know what, whatever. It's Kelvin Benjamin. Doesn't deserve the time, in my opinion. But Kelvin Benjamin was apparently supposed to come into Giants camp at like 251 pounds or something around there, and he came in at like 268. My numbers may be off, but it's somewhere in that area. So for Kelvin Benjamin to come in 16, 17 pounds overweight, or what the Giants asked him to come in at, and then basically go on an interview, I think it was with Zach Rosenblatt, and basically throw Joe Judge under the bus and saying his style won't work, this guy will never win a Super Bowl. Who the hell are you? Kelvin Benjamin, his entire career, he will not take accountability. He's always pointing the finger. It's this guy, that coach, that GM. Kelvin Benjamin will never take accountability for his actions. So I'm happy he's gone. I know it was like a 1-year thing, a minimum contract. He had a 1% chance of making the team anyway. And that's kind of why I cracked jokes when he was signed. I'm like, well, can he play offensive line? I did not take the signing serious. I'm sure most fans did not take it serious as well. So I'm kind of happy he's gone. I'm going to be honest. So the whole Kelvin Benjamin thing was just stupid. That one Twitter account got everyone saying that Kelvin Benjamin was released because he was caught stealing food. That was funny. Some people got tricked by that. Some verified accounts. That was fun. But yeah, I'm definitely happy he's gone. Kelvin Benjamin does not bring good vibes, based on his history, not really a hard worker, does not keep himself in the best shape. And when you see a guy who's 6'5" and his size and has been giving every God-given ability and just does not put the work in, it's frustrating. But, that's his own problem. It is what it is. So for the other guys, Joe Looney, Todd Davis, they aren't the biggest losses. Look, we need offensive linemen, obviously, so Joe Looney may have been able to help. Todd Davis, I feel like, was kind of just insurance for the Reggie Raglins, the Blake Martinez type guys. I don't think he was going to start at any point, but they're no longer here. And you see some people in the media say, whoa, what's going on here? Joe Judge is too hard on these guys, making them run laps. And it's like, are we serious? Like, it's the NFL. It's a professional sport. These guys are paid to do this. Like, I don't look at it as like Joe Judge is being too hard on these guys. I know I'm a Joe Judge like truther. I love the guy. I get it. But like, I don't see anything wrong with what Joe Judge is doing. I could be wrong, but I just personally don't see a problem with it. There's plenty of guys there with smiles on their faces and they love the way the practices are going and stuff like that. And I think Sterling Shepard had the best quote out of everyone. He says, well, if you don't want to be here, then we don't want you, or basically something like that. So that was good to see. And then, Logan Ryan spoke about it, and basically they're all backing up Joe Judge, as they should. If I was there, if I was being paid to be a professional athlete, like you have to be expected to be worked hard. Like you can't really just expect to walk through training camp and not have a challenge, So I know some people may look at it as like, oh, this is high school crap and whatnot, but like still, he's disciplining these guys, and I think it's fine. I really don't have a problem with it. If you make a mistake, you have to run a lap. I really don't see the problem with it. I remember playing basketball growing up. If you made mistakes, you'd run suicides, foul line to half court to the other foul line and back. It's part of sports. I know it's professional sports. It's not my middle school, high school basketball team. I get all that, but still, if you make a mistake, you have to pay for it in some type of way. If you don't, then players are not going to be held accountable and all that crap. So yeah, I definitely I'm with Joe Judge. I don't see a problem with it. Are the retirements a bit concerning? Maybe, but the way I look at it is like, if they're going to quit on the team in training camp, then who says they wouldn't quit on the team in the regular season when they're getting paid, So like, I'm kind of happy they're gone now as compared to putting in like half-ass efforts during the season. So if those guys don't want to be here, that's fine. There's plenty of other free agents out there that the Giants can sign, guys that are hungry and want the opportunity. I'm not saying that Joe Looney, Todd Davis, and Zach Fulton are lazy. I'm not saying that. They're up there in age. Maybe their bodies just don't want to go through it anymore. I'm not saying they're lazy or anything like that. But, this is a team that expects maximum effort all the time, and they definitely expect the fundamentals to be right and all that. So if they don't want to be part of it, then it is what it is. Sometimes you get too old. Father time catches all. I get that. So I'm not saying these guys are lazy, but some people in the media are definitely overblowing this entire situation, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. All right, so Levine Toilolo, he tore his Achilles, unfortunately, in practice, and he was supposed to be like the third or fourth tight end. Of course, we had Evan Engram and Kyle Rudolph we'll talk about in a little bit, Caden Smith, of course, and then you have Levine Toilolo, either 3 or 4. So Toilolo played on this team last year, didn't have much of a role, was more of just a blocker, honestly. He might have had a handful of catches, 5 to 10 catches, didn't really do much in the receiving department. And some people said like maybe he has a bigger role this year, but then they brought in Kyle Rudolph and that kind of just mitigated all that. So, losing Levine Toilolo, I guess it's not going to be a massive hit. It probably won't even be a big hit, but it sucks to lose anybody, and this is a guy that probably would have made the team. It seems like the Giants wanted to take in 4 tight ends to start the season. Maybe they signed another veteran tight end somewhere. We'll find out. But look, I feel bad for the guy, and he's probably now close to 30 years old. I don't know if he'll play again after this, so hopefully for him it's not a career-ending injury, but he's a guy that's been in a couple Super Bowls. He's seen it all, so we'll find out what Levine Toilolo's future is. But in terms of the Giants, I'm not too concerned about it. Obviously if Kyle Rudolph is like out for a while and like misses half the year, we're probably going to miss Levine Toilolo. But if Kyle Rudolph comes back and plays, I think it'll be fine and we'll forget everything about this injury. So it really depends on Kyle Rudolph, honestly. It's probably not fair to put on him, but I think if he comes back and plays Kyle Rudolph, then I think the Giants will be fine and not really worry about this. So it sucks for Levine Toilolo on a personal level, but I don't think this will impact the Giants in a massive way. Now, for the Saquon and Kyle Rudolph injuries, both guys on the PUP list, obviously. There's a couple other guys on the PUP list. Aaron Robinson's still there. He has the core injury. O'Shane Ximines, I think, has yet to practice. I know Matt Parrott came back, which was good news. Good to see that. But, yeah, those two guys, Ximines and Aaron Robinson, they remain out. They might missed the start of the season. I have no idea, but we'll find out what happens with them. That's not good to see for a guy like Gimenez entering year 3, definitely on the roster bubble. And Aaron Robinson, of course, a guy that was a third-round rookie. Was he third? Yeah, third-round rookie, and could have had a nice role on this team. Could have competed with Darnay Holmes, but it seems like right now Darnay Holmes definitely has the slot corner spot locked down for now. So for Saquon Barkley, I got an alert this morning that I'm sure all you guys did as well. It's not just me, but that the Giants definitely, it's likely he'll be back by week 3. So they're not ruling out week 1, but they're saying, hey, by week 3, he'll be back. And he got injured week 2 last year. He'll be back week 3, they believe. Now, I'll stick to what I said before. I think Saquon Barkley's back week 1. He may get 50% of his workload. He may get 40, 60% of his workload. He may not get the 25, 30 touches or whatever. I get that. But I still think he suits up and is active for week 1. We'll see how much he plays. It's kind of like the situation with Odell Beckham in 2017, I believe. It was the same year he hurt his ankle in the Browns preseason game. He came back in week 2, I believe. He missed the Cowboys game, came back in week 2, played against the Lions. He played about 50, 60% of the snaps, I believe. I think we may see something similar like that for Saquon Barkley. So I think Odell in those games, he had like 4 catches and like 40 yards or something. It wasn't that great, but he still contributed in some type of way. I specifically remember because I came down to a Monday night fantasy football matchup. I was between him and Golden Tate. I went with Odell, I think, and I still lost. But anyway, that's how I remember. But yeah, I think he may come back in some type of limited capacity. But I do think Saquon Barkley ultimately suits up in week 1. Now, for Kyle Rudolph, there hasn't really been like an update per se, at least that I've seen, but it's a little concerning coming off the foot injury, the foot surgery. I do hope he's there week 1. I mean, I think this guy's going to be a pretty big part of this team. So far, thank God, the reports out of camp are that Evan Engram looks phenomenal. We've seen this before, fool me once, fool me twice, whatever. But still, I mean, so far, Evan Engram has been looking good. He's healthy, so, knock on wood, hopefully he stays that way. But for Kyle Rudolph, he's going to have a role on this team when he's here, and I hope he's back as soon as possible. You don't want him to miss time. He's going to be a big red zone option for this team, especially if Kenny Golladay is out the first couple weeks as well. Like, if the Giants are in a situation where Golladay and Rudolph miss time to start the year, that's not good. Like, they need one of those guys at least to be there for the red zone offense. So, yeah, I mean, I think both guys, if I had to guess, I'm more confident in Saquon, but I still feel like both guys will play week 1. I mean, Rudolph I'm kind of 50-50 on, honestly, because so far it's not looking so good with the reports, but still, I mean, we'll find out what happens, but I'm not, like, panicking yet about Kyle Rudolph or Saquon Barkley. So far, it seems fine. So, the practice brawl, well, I'll talk about Shane Lemieux. Shane Lemieux is going to be out for, I guess, at this point, probably just another week or so. He had a knee injury, was carted off, as you guys know, probably, and some people thought it might be very serious. Of course, when you see the cart, anything could happen at that point. We're talking ACL or whatever, but no, it seems like it's just a minor thing. He should be ready for week 1, of course, and Giants right now have basically no other right guard. I know they might put Hernandez at right guard and Lemieux at left guard. I have no idea, but I still think that Lemieux has a chance to start week 1, obviously, so we'll find out what happens. But I do think the Giants bring in another veteran, as I said, so we'll find out who that veteran is and what happens in the future. But at least Shane Lemieux avoided a serious injury, that's for sure. The practice brawl, once again, not really a big deal to me. It's kind of like the whole Joe Judge and the retirements thing. I really don't care. The one part that was concerning was the Giants quarterback, Daniel Jones, gotten involved in the pile. Like, you don't want to see that, of course. So, I can't really imagine, like, Eli Manning getting involved in something like that. I guess that's where those two differ. But, Daniel Jones said in, like, a interview that he's part of the team. He feels he should be in there. I get that. But, come on, you're a quarterback of this team. Like, if Daniel Jones, you can feel how you want about Daniel Jones, but if he goes down, this team is, they're not in a good spot. I'll put it that way. So you can't lose Daniel Jones, of course, whether you think he's going to be great or average. You can't lose your starting quarterback. So, the practice brawl, not really a big deal. I think it was Corey Clement got hit by McKinney, I think it was, and then I think Engram came in and shoved McKinney. I could be wrong about the names, but something like that happened, and then it piled into a whole big thing. So there were reports about it. I kind of woke up to some alerts about it. It was pretty crazy. So it was a big practice brawl, but It's really not a big deal to me. There's no hurt feelings. I think that, Logan Ryan kind of cleared it up and said, hey, like, we're all good. There's no hurt feelings or anything like that. And that's probably how it goes with teammates. You get in the fight, and then 5 minutes later, you're good. So it's not really a concern for me. There's no chemistry loss or anything like that. I think these guys will be fine. It's nice to see them competitive, of course. And the first preseason game against the Jets. Now, we watched the Hall of Fame game last night. It was the Steelers and the Cowboys. I may have watched 10 minutes of it. I was kind of losing interest. We saw some starters played for the Steelers and the Cowboys. Saw Micah Parsons play and all that, Najee Harris. But the Giants' first preseason game is going to be interesting because Joe Judge has yet to coach a preseason game. Of course, last year, as we know, there were no preseason games. So we'll find out what happens with Joe Judge. How does he manage it? I think in New England, of course, Joe Judge is not going to take everything from Belichick, but New England played their starters, I feel like, more than most teams. I feel like New England would play their starters in the first game for a couple of drives, and then in the second preseason game would play them for like a quarter, then the third game for like a half. There is 3 preseason games, I believe, now. I'll look real quick. I'm pretty sure there's 3 and not 4. Of course, I'm off the schedule now, but I think the Giants are going to play at least some of their starters. Like, you would have to think at some point, like, these guys have to get in there, but they play the Jets, the Browns, and the Patriots. So there's 3 games, and I do think that some guys will miss time. Of course, Kenny Golladay is not going to play. Saquon Barkley is not going to play in the preseason. I mentioned Aaron Robinson. I mentioned O'Shane Ximines. Guys like that probably won't play in the preseason, you would have to guess, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of starters will play. We'll see Daniel Jones. We'll see most of the offensive line. We'll see the secondary guys. Probably we'll see Adoree Jackson, which will be nice. We'll see Bradbury. We'll see McKinney, Peppers, all those guys. So I think majority of guys will play in the preseason. It depends how long. We'll see. Joe Judge is he does things different than some other coaches, as we know. So if Joe Judge happens to play his starters for like 3 quarters in the second or third game, it wouldn't shock me, but I don't want to see that. So hopefully it's no more than a half, but we'll find out what happens. But I do like 3 games as compared to 4 in the preseason. I am happy about that. And I actually might live stream one of these preseason games. I'm thinking about the Jets one. I might just, I have my TV over there. Hopefully the internet connection holds up. But I might do that. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments if you would join the live stream or not. So I may do that for 8-14 against the Jets. So that's pretty much going to do it. I've been talking for a while here. I'll try to do a video soon about, obviously I want to do the video answering your guys' questions, but I want to do a Giants prediction / bold prediction video. Might do 2 separate videos there, but I'll do something like that coming up in the future. I dropped a hype video a couple days ago. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one, but yeah, that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.